Here's the truth. Isolation might feel like a solution at first, but over time it becomes this prison. It becomes like jail. The walls you build up to keep others out are the same ones that'll keep you closed in. They ain't trying to hear me though. There's a difference between solitude and loneliness. Okay? I had to sit back and think about it because solitude is intentional. And that's probably the word I should have used instead of saying disappear for success. I should have said solitude because solitude is when you take time for yourself and reflect. That's what that is. When you isolate, it's almost as if you disconnected from everybody. You disconnected from the world. You know what's crazy, y'all? We live in a world where people honestly think isolation is the solution, bro. And I'm here to tell y'all that it's not. You know, okay, being in isolation, don't get me wrong, there's no drama, there's no, judgment, there's no nothing. No disappointments, nothing at all, bro. Being alone, you do get the time to find yourself. You do get the time to find who you are as a person, as an individual. But it ain't the solution to everything, bro. And you know what? Here's why. Everybody believes in this myth that being alone is gonna make you become successful. Being alone is gonna, give you all of these things, but being for real, and some real shit, shutting out the world and just grinding away is not helping nothing, bro. It's not. You gotta think about it. You spend all your time grinding, you spend all your time hustling. Much like myself, when do you ever have time to live? I was talking to my pops the other day. He was like, man, bro, I don't see how you do it. I was like, me neither sometimes. He was like, you young though, but don't forget to actually live life. Because before you know it, you'll blink and be 50. I said, damn. It's the truth though. A lot of us have been hurt. A lot of us have been misunderstood, and it feels easier to shut out the world and be alone, right? Because I can contest to that. I have isolated myself, not because I wanted to, but just due to certain circumstances in my situation where something had to give with me to the point where, I gotta give up something. You know what I'm saying? I need to get out of debt. I want more money. I had to figure out some stuff. Isolating myself was the best decision that I've made for me. Now, not for everybody is gonna be that way, because isolating can cause damage. If you're not in the right mindset with things where you got a good head on your shoulders, and you'll be good. But if you don't, you liable to crash out or fall into a situation where it's gonna be a downward spiral to nothing. When you're not in the right headspace, it can get critical, especially for my people that's dealing with depression, anxiety, things of this sort. I talked about it yesterday. In reality, you think you're protecting yourself, but honestly, the only thing you are doing is you're limiting your potential with things when you isolate yourself, right? And growth doesn't happen when you do this. Growth doesn't happen in isolation. Individually, it does within, but growth, meaning success, it happens money-wise and things like this, it happens through connections, right? It happens through challenges. It happens through people. Because I even had to look back on my certain situations in my life, much like I want you to. A lot of these things that I'm learning with like investing and getting the jobs that I've got, one of them I had to go through somebody to get it. Now, if I'd have did it by myself, I probably wouldn't have got it. You get what I'm saying? And I'm talking about my studio job. If I didn't go through somebody, I probably wouldn't have got it. But since I got a good word in through a connection, I got through. Now let's clear something up though, right? There's a difference between solitude and loneliness, okay? I had to sit back and think about it because solitude is intentional. And that's probably the word I should have used instead of saying disappear for success. I should have said solitude, because solitude is when you take time for yourself and reflect. That's what that is. When you isolate, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost as if you disconnected from everybody. You disconnected from the world. See, when you isolate, you cut off everything. That's not cool for certain aspects. When you're in solitude, to give you time to recharge, grow. That's what that is. When you live in isolation, there's no connections, there's no growth, there isn't anything. It's just you cutting off the world to everybody, and that's that. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back, but here's the difference. Solitude is you taking a step back and growing. Isolating is the opposite. We also need to take friendships and relationships and stop romanticizing what that is, okay? And this is what I mean. Relationships and friendships matter. It's not just the romantic ones. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your baby, your shorty, your boo-boo. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about friendships, family, even mentors, bro. The people that are around you to shape you. You feel me? Your perspective on life, people who are gonna challenge your thinking, these people, and remind you of your whole value of this. We on limited time anyway. We gotta move precisely with things. When you forget, humans are wired for connection. We tend to forget that, bro. It's literally in our biology. We don't want to talk about that, right? Think about this. Who inspires you? Who checks on you? Who do you check on? If you don't have an answer, that's a problem. It's time to build those connections, bro, because being alone can't replace that relationship that you could have, that relationship offer. Here's what happens. There's a danger in you prolonging isolation. Now, I don't advise anybody to be in isolation for too long. We had to deal enough with that in COVID. You feel me? We dealt with enough of that, right? So let's get real, bro. Staying isolated for too long, you'll get into routine with it. It can have serious consequences. Not only that, you'll fall into depression. I just talked about mental health the other day. When you isolate for too long, especially if you're not in the right mindset, you'll fall into depression. You'll have high anxiety. You'll have a feeling of lack of purpose. It'll be all of these things. It's all ties back into that feeling of feeling disconnected, because that's what it is. I've been there, bro. I've had those thoughts of going into depression, but I had to pick myself back up and get out of that funk, bro. Because when you stay there too long, it's a pit of destruction. See, the goal is for you to be there. It's okay to fall, bro. It's okay. But then you got to get up and you got to dust yourself off. You can't still just be sitting there. If I just stay to myself, nothing can go wrong. That's how people think. I used to think like this, but I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong. And here's the truth, bro. Here's the truth. Isolation might feel like a solution at first, but over time it becomes this prison. It becomes like jail. The walls you build up to keep others out are the same ones that'll keep you closed in. They ain't trying to hear me though. I'm telling you, it's almost like you building a gateway and blocking yourself in. You know, like those baby cribs? That's how it is when you isolate for too long. So if being alone isn't the solution, because I don't think it is, then what is? What is the solution? I feel, and I could be wrong, but from what I'm learning and from what I'm viewing, I think it's about reconnecting. It's reconnecting to yourself. It's reconnecting with people. It's having a connection. Reaching out even when it's uncomfortable. A lot of people don't know how to be social anymore. You wanna know why? It's because there's these dumb ass phones, bro. I'm telling you. That's why dudes don't even wanna walk up to females no more. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Let me stop cursing. YouTube might demonetize me. But it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I ain't gonna walk up to her because what? Not even just with females, bro. People don't socialize at all. I don't know if I told y'all, but I should have said it in yesterday's video, but I had a situation of me going into a grocery store, right? It was an older woman. She was probably with her grandson. Had to be. He was little, maybe like 5, okay? I go in, she's kind of short, so she can't reach the cereal. So I walk over, I grab the box, this the one you want? How you feeling? How you doing? She just start crying. Just start bawling. I said, are you okay? She said, nobody's ever asked me that before. Nobody really asked how I'm doing or genuinely asked. This is a hard time for me during the holidays. I done lost most of my family members. He's the last. And I take care of him because his father and mother passed away. Car accident. That's a hard pill to swallow. And me, some random person in the store, I felt so bad. But you never know what somebody going through, bro. That's why I tell everybody to treat everybody how you want to be treated. Because a lot of people are going through that. And I wouldn't even knew she was going through that because she was smiling with her grandbaby. Smiling. Whole time she's going through something mentally. Something detrimental. It's crazy. I feel like now more than ever is the time for people to get out this funk or get out this type of mentality of, how can I put it? People are so worried about themselves that they're not considerate of other people. You get me? I feel like people need to reconnect more with people and find people who have the same interest as them, lend a helping hand, things like this, bro. We living in a really, really bad time, and I don't think anybody is really waking up to the fact that a lot of people are dealing with the same things that could reconnect people and connect people on a whole different level, more than you would understand. Y'all let me know, bro. I could be wrong.